Welcome to the O7 Academy, where your interest in computer is our goal. So in today's video, we're working on a project on making a Facebook logo, and we're doing that with our knowledge in CSS display property and CSS position property. So let's go right to our editor, and in the editor we're going to our folder because we have a folder, the O7 Academy. I'll be closing this folder. And in this O7 Academy, we'll create two files, one an HTML file and the other a CSS file. And I'll call this a facebook.html, where we can save it to whatever name you want to save it. The reason I'm using facebook.html is for to be coincide on what I'm doing, and maybe when I have to come back to do one or two things, I'll say yes, Facebook, it has to do with what I did before. Okay, and I'll also come here and I'll create a new file for CSS. I'll also call it facebook.css. Well, you can give it a different name entirely, but the reason for doing this is to actually know the file you're working with, to avoid confusion. So we'll do this to avoid confusion. So when we see Facebook CSS and Facebook HTML, you just say, oh, these two they come together to actually avoid confusion. Now we come to our HTML file, and the first thing we're using is above our closing head tag, we'll be using a link tag. So I'll tap on link, and I'll tap on the first one, which is the link emit, and I'll tap on it. And in our href asking us for location, then I'll come and say facebook.css because it's in our folder, so it's locating something similar. So tap here, and after we're done with this, so we just come to our body and we'll create a div container, that is a snippet. Sorry, let's type that again so I'll just be able to tap on it and it will to complete for us. Okay, we have that, and we'll go up and create a class. That is, you just come over to this here that I'll put as a shortcut and tap it, create a class, and we'll create a class for, let me call it box. And in this box we'll create a p tag. No, but before we create a p tag, I want to call this box main. I want to call this class main because there's a reason why for that. I want to call it main. I want the Facebook logo to be in a main div. That's why. And in here I'm going to create another div element, tap on it. Okay, and I'll just go up, and in here, so I'll tap on the shortcut class, which is here, and I'll call this box. Yes, so the box is on another div container called the main, and in our box I'll be putting a p tag of, and I'll put f. So this is all we just have to do it in our HTML. So I'll come to our preview so that we all can see what we have in our preview of what we've done. It's actually simple. So we have something like this, as you can see, just the f that we have there. Now we're going to come to our CSS. We just come here and tap CSS because we haven't actually worked on it actually. So we have the Facebook HTML and the Facebook CSS, and as I said, first and foremost, in your HTML file, so everything will be simplified for you. And to avoid unusual spacing, you just come here and put your padding, and I'm going to set this to 0 pixel, and I'm going to put my margin, I'm going to set it to, and I'm going to set this to 0 pixel also, and then I'm going to set my box sizing to border box sizing, and I'll come here and put a border box, so avoid unusual spacing so it does not affect your work. Then you start wondering what's going on. So we have it like this, and in our box, because I want the box to be in the middle of the web page, that's as classic like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to first of all bring the first one, which is the main. Since the main is a class, so I'll just add a dot first, and I'm going to put a main. that's dot main to actually represent that you are actually working with a class. Then I'm going to put my curly bracket and the rest. Okay, in our dot main, so we have already established that this is a class. That's why we're putting the dots there. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to come and put, so I'm going to set a width, because the reason why I'm setting a width is because I want the box, that's this second, this div in it, to actually be in the middle. So I'm going to set the width to 100 viewport width. Sorry about that. 100 viewport width. Okay. 100 viewport width. Okay, that has been established, and we're going to create a height of 100 viewport height. That's going to cover the entire screen. As the entire screen you're seeing first is going to cover it before you can also scroll down. So we have something like this. I think I've explained this in one of our videos, so if not, you have to go check out other videos. So coming to what we have here, we already said this. Now for us to actually see this div, because primarily we can't see this div, so we're going to be setting a border of I'm using 1 pixel solid gray. Well, you can use the hexadecimal value if you want to. So I just come over to our preview. So the reason why I'm not seeing it is actually because we don't have a padding and a margin. So if I just come here and I set this to 5, so that, because this is actually the thickness of the border. So if I set this to 5, I think we're actually going to see it. Okay, now we can see our borderline of this thing of the main div. So we already established that. So I'll just come over here, and now we're not dealing with the box. And now in the box, so before we actually deal with the box, actually we'll come here and we'll give it a before this width and height, we just come down, we'll give it a of flex display of flex. That's, we don't just want it to be in one place, we want it to be horizontally arranged, as like this, not like this. So we want it to be like this. Okay, I'll put this in, just trying to explain that using my touchpad. So display flex, then we're going to give it an align item of center. That what this align item of center does is that from the top to the bottom, it's going to align it in the center. That's from top to the bottom in the center. And we're going to give it a justify content center also. That's from left to right, it's going to center. That means it's going to centralize this board, because what this display flex, align item, these three are actually affecting what's in the main div, and what we have in the main div is the box div. So when we come to our preview, I've actually said a lot, so let's see if it's been applied. So we have it like this. As you can see, the F, that's the align item, did this from top to bottom and align it at the middle, and the justify content from left down to the right, it's aligned it to the middle. So we have something like that. And so I think we'll be working with the box div, and in the box div we'll be setting an outline of gray. See, I'm setting it to be gray. So we'll come over. Okay, first of all, put a color. So come here and put a background of blue, and then I don't really seem pleased using this outline, so I'm using a border of of 2 pixel solid gray, and I'm setting the width to be. Now let me explain this very well. In our main div, we actually said that the width is actually 100%, 100 view width and 100 view height for the height. Now what is in the container, you can actually set it to be 100 also, but not in view height and viewport. You can actually set it to be 100% or pixel in pixel or anything. But if you are using percent, what it actually means is that you are taking percentage of the main div or the outside div. So in here I'll be saying that I want it to be 40% of, that is going to cover 40% width of, no, that's much, I'll say 30% width and of the main div. And in the height I will say I'm giving it a 27% height. And here I'm going to close this because I mistakenly opened it, so I've tried to avoid this warning sign. So when we come to our preview, okay, you can see the thing is very big because we're actually using a percent. So I will actually be reducing that. I'll be setting the height. I'm setting it to about 12% and the width to about just 15 because it's not that big. So I just wanted an understanding about how it works. Okay, I think this is okay. I think I'll be reducing the height to 10. Okay, now height has been reduced to 10. So I'll be putting a border radius to actually give it a curve around the edges. A border radius of about 2 pixels. Okay, now that has been done, and just come over here to preview of what we've done. So we have something like this. Now we have our F still there, not colored. So I'm just going to come over here and we're going to do, since we have the p tag in the box tag, we're just going to do dot box. That's to invite the class of the div. Then p, since it's just a selector on its own, so just have to put it like that. So we'll give it a, first of all, a font family. What's font family? Font family actually, the way the font is, that's the font. We have a lot of font, but here we'll be using sans serif. This is one type of font. On the norms, your Chrome, your browser, is actually using a font family which is called New Times Roman, but it can actually be altered by you because by default it's set to New Times Roman, but from here you can actually alter that. And in our preview, I think it's Arial or something like that. I don't really know, but all of these are what we call fonts and font family. So you are going to set here font size to um about, let me say, 30 pixel, and we're going to give it a color white. A color white, or okay, I don't want to use the wording, I want to use an hexadecimal, so I'm just going to use FFF. So that's also mean white. And in this box we're just going to do an align items. No, we're not going to be using that. We're going to be using a text align to actually align the text within the div, and we're going to do center because we want it to be in the center of the div. So we're going to come to our what we have, not big enough, so we're going to come here and I'm going to put 50 pixel, and I'm going to put a font weight to actually make it thick and bold. Font weight, that's what we have over here, and I'm going to set this to about 800. It's actually set in 100, can be 700, 500 and above, down to about 900 or so. So depend on the one you want. So we have something like this close to. So I think we'll increase this also. We'll increase it to about 80 pixel. So we have something like this. So I want to do it from top and bottom. So I'm just going to come over here, and same logic. I'm going to put align item center, items center, and I'm going to put, okay, we already have the text align center. That's from left to right. We're going to see if actually, okay, no, because there's a reason for that. Actually, we are going to set the display here to flex for that to actually be effective. Display to flex. Yes. So we now have that from top to bottom left, but I think from the left and right we don't actually have, it's not actually centered. So this text align is not actually hot to be here. We have to actually remove it. Not actually have to be in the div. It actually has to be in the p tag. Text align center. Okay. Guess we're having problem with that because of the flex property. So I think we're having problem with that text align. So we'll just come here for simplicity, and we just come and put the justify content, and go there and put center. So all of these, if a style does not work, it may be that it was because of another property. So when we actually coding with CSS, we actually make sure that the properties we are using are actually coincide and following other properties in order for us to achieve our goal. So now we have it that it's actually in the middle of it, and we have that the border radius is not that coincides as we want it to be. So come over here, and border radius, I'm setting this to 1. I think it's too back, so I'll be setting this to 1 pixel solid gray, and I'll be setting our border radius to about 6, and I'll be reducing our height to about 8%. And when we check our preview, we have something like this. So I'll reduce the text to from 80 down to 70, and we're going to having something like this. So this is actually the power of using your CSS display and your CSS display and CSS position to actually make whatever. Well, the reason of me actually making this in order to know how, because when you're actually creating a website, actually you actually need the knowledge of this in order to position. There are some maybe certain things you actually want to position in your web page. So that's all about the CSS, working using it to create a Facebook as we have over here. So that's it. If we were to come here and set this to desktop mode, we still have it placed at the center, although changing height and changing width. Well, we'll talk about that in our later video. So we still have something like this. So thank you for watching. Please, you can also use this to practice for other, and you can still use this also to practice on other application logo. So thank you once again for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment if there's any question you want to ask on this. Thank you once again for watching. See you next on our next video, and God bless you.